just in case you've not been watching or listening to anything sports related in the past couple days, former Georgia star Jalen Carter, one of the top prospects in the NFL's draft next month, has been charged with reckless driving and racing in connection with a crash that killed a teammate and a recruiting staff member. Details of the investigation released Wednesday, which is yesterday, cited evidence that Carter and LaCroix were operating their vehicles in a manner consistent with racing shortly before the crash. Reckless driving and racing are both misdemeanors in Georgia. And I talked about this earlier. This is a summarized statement from Jalen Carter. Numerous media reports have circulated containing inaccurate information. There is no question that when all the facts are known, I will fully be exonerated of any criminal wrongdoing. And the fully exonerated thing actually stands out to me because you don't hear a lot of people putting out statements when they're trying to clear their name or say, hey, and they literally go, I did not do it. I will be fully exonerated. Like, there's some weight to that to me because an attorney had to see this before he put it out. Somebody that knows about language and words, they had to see this before it was put out. And there would have been
wrote it.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that they must know some stuff that is going to come out that will look a bit different once everything is out. And my only point is everything isn't out yet. Yeah. And we, especially us in media, where we love ratings and headlines and clicks, and we got to be careful. We got to be careful until we know exactly what we're saying when it comes to things like this involving two people that tragically lost their life. Yeah. And here they are at the combine, and he wasn't going to work out, and correct me if I'm wrong. He was not going to work out, but he was going to do the medical and the questions, right?
Yep. Interviews, team interviews, and you get your height and weight, medical evaluation, and all that stuff.
And this isn't one of those where we hear about the NFL going, well, this agent's saying this to make someone fall down a board, because this is actually them going, we're going to go ahead and pursue this officially. So it's not one of those, because I've seen people online go, well, this is probably another team's probably some. This is not that at all. And with the draft there's still enough time in between now and the draft for whatever it is to be fleshed out. Jalen Carter, a lot of the teams had him at number 1 on their board if they didn't need a quarterback. Do you feel like this will significantly impact his draft position, Chris?
I don't.
I don't either, because it's 2 misdemeanors. If one of them were a felony, I think it's a different situation completely. And again, there's some heavy, fully exonerated makes me feel like there's something there too. Why do you not?
I think that it's because he's awesome. It's kind of sad. It's like because he's a great, great player. If this was kind of a fringe guy, maybe a first rounder, a tweener, a second day pick, this maybe it would be give teams kind of justification for taking them off their board completely or moving him down a couple of rounds. But this guy is consensusly the number 1 player, number 1 defender, national champion. Now, when he gets in these interviews, he's going to have to really explain himself. Why did police and investigators initially? Why were you doing this in the first place? Time of day, decision making. He's going to have to explain all of that and have his answers be satisfactory for some of these teams, but enough to take him out of the top 5, top 10, first round? No.
If you had him circled at 1 and you had a shot to get him at 1, do they still take him at 1? Whomever they do you think that would happen?
Is he that much better than the other guy or players you were looking at? Is he that much better than Will Anderson to be like, all right, this guy's got some off the field stuff. Maybe we heard this, we heard that. We talked to a few teams and this and that. Let's just go with the guy who we know doesn't have any of those issues and there's not going to be that much of a drop off. Then maybe you go the other direction. But if you don't think so, if you're satisfied with what he tells you, all your background checks clear out, then sure, just take him number 1 if you were going to take him number 1 anyway. But something like this comes up, man, it's not a good look this close to the draft. But like you said, there is enough time for everyone to hear what they need to hear to feel comfortable to take him number 1.
Will Anderson is working out, right? He was going to work out. Is that at the combine? Because if I were Will Anderson, I wouldn't work out. I mean, I'm just be like,
if I was Will Anderson, I wouldn't even have played last year.
That's true too. I just wouldn't work out now. I mean, what is there to gain?
Nothing to gain.
You're already that guy. And let's say you've now decided to jump off Jalen Carter and you're going to go and you need somebody defensively, especially that's, playing a linebacker or defensive line guy. You're not going to move up anywhere, but you can only underperform at the combine if you're somebody of that status. it's like bowl games. If I were a guy that was going to go early, I would probably pop out of the bowl game too if it was meaningless.
Yeah, if it wasn't in the tournament, Final Four, national championship, I probably wouldn't do it.
And I get why people get upset because it's not how football used to be when I was a kid. But that's okay. Yeah. It's not. You're not a kid anymore, and so
it's different now. There's too much money involved. There's too much risk, and you get risk when you try to play careful. That's when you kind of get injured. But why put yourself out there? Why take the chance?
Rich is going to call in like 7 minutes or so, and we'll talk about, because I've heard nothing about how it's happening today. We got here early and started working, so I don't know what's happening at the Combine today. They pulled all, again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they pulled all the defensive linemen or defensive tackle, or whatever it was yesterday that was going to speak.
Yeah, all the defensive linemen, the prospects, didn't speak yesterday. But Jalen Carter's back now. He's back at the Combine. He's back in Indianapolis. He's going to go through all the interviews. He's going to do all the measurables and the medical, and so I imagine we're going to hear those guys speak at some point.
So he flew down and did what he had to do there and then came back, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to see what happens today whenever people can openly ask him things, because it's not like he's had a lot of time to do media training on exactly what to say because this has happened now. He probably knew it was coming, or they probably knew something was coming, but you never quite know when a charge is going to get pressed because they don't share that information openly.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. And you almost have to have him talk. You can't really protect him right now. You can't go, no, we can't let him talk right now. It's almost like you have to go, hey, man, it's now time for you to prove who you are as a person, talk about the situation. I would continue to say, I'll be exonerated if you really feel that way. Problem is, if he's not, you can't keep saying it. Like, they'll replay that clip 100,000 times.
I imagine he'll have to really explain everything when he's meeting with teams and meeting with, high-level officials. But I'd imagine he'd get up there if there's a media scrum and say, ongoing investigation. I can't really talk much more about it.
Like Lynch type, like Marshawn Lynch type, he just says the same thing over if they ask him again.
Fine.
Yeah.
But, the thing is, it's very weird because he wasn't driving the car.
Right.
And of course, just a terrible situation, but apparently there was no liquor involved. And like I said the other day, basically we've all been there. We've all been 23, 24, and you think you're invincible, except we've never been, top-notch athletes who just came off winning a national title. It sounds like these guys were out. They were having some fun. It ended tragically because, they did something dumb. But I don't know that this kid, based on what we've seen, can be held accountable for this tragedy. I think it was just a bad thing that happened, and that's kind of it.
And I think we'll learn more. We have time to learn.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.